Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jason and you're watching Jason Jensen Trains. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make this. We're going to be using two kits, one from Foscale Models and one from Best Trains. And then we'll be adding lots of details. And I will go into specifics on adding barnacles, and then making buoys using sculpey. Sit back and relax and hope you enjoy the video. Okay, today we're going to start another kit bash. We're going to use two kits, and the first kit is from Foscale Models, and it is from their Kit of the Month Club. It is the March 2020 kit. Then we're going to combine that with a kit from besttrains.com. It's from their Just the Basics series. I believe most of these kits only run or cost $20. We're going to be using this one. So let me quick show you what we're going to do. So there's basically two structures with a small structure in the center that joins the two. Here you can kind of see from the back side, it's a small little hallway there in the center. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the center, in between the garage and the storefront. So the first thing we're going to do is stain all of our wood, and we're going to use murky brown and oak. We'll start with the oak, and I'm going to try something that I've never done before, and I'm going to stain the pieces before I actually cut them apart. And we're going to do both sides at the same time. This will help to prevent warping. Okay, our oak stain is completely dry. Now we're going to use murky brown. Okay, next we're going to paint the walls, and I'm going to do the top part of the walls white and the bottom part red. So we're going to start with the white, and we're using sand gray. I ran out of painter's tape, so I just cut a strip of paper to cover the bottom portion. It's going to be rough, but we'll make it work. Okay, the white's done. Now we're going to do red, and I am using French wine. So now we'll cover up the white and paint the red. For the gas station part that's in the center, I'm going to do it entirely red. And then I have to paint all the trim red too. Now let's paint all of our doors and windows iced coffee. Then we'll sponge on. The red structure in the center is going to get a white door and white windows. And then all the doors and windows for the rest will be red. So the first thing we'll do is paint everything with iced coffee. And then we'll sponge on our color. And this doesn't have to be real neat and clean. Just get some color on there so that it looks like wood. So I painted the door and windows for the center section white. And instead of using a sponge, I dabbed it with a brush. That way it gets into the corners in all the little window frames. Same with the red. I'm not going to use a sponge. I'm just going to dab it with my paintbrush. And you want to keep rotating your brush so that you don't get a pattern. Okay, so everything is painted. Our windows and doors are all cut out. Next, we'll put acetate in our windows and get them glued in place while the walls are still flat. Then we'll put everything together using our corner trim. Well, as you can see, I've been building the pier that the buildings are going to sit on. So the wood is from Northeastern Scale Lumber, and let me grab some quick. Now these boards are each 1/8 of an inch wide. I've done the 1/16 inch wide boards. I go back and forth. I'm not sure which one. I think this might look better on piers, and the 16th might look better on, say, a porch or a deck. So it's really going to be up to you. But on this specific model, I used the 1/8. So again, there it is. I was short a couple pilings, so I need to stain some more dowels and get those glued in place. So let's flip it over. Boom. There it is. I still have the top part of the windows to put in on both sides. Now the reason this is done is because two reasons. The first reason, I want to spend more time showing you step by step how I put barnacles on, and then I want to show you sort of step by step how I make buoys using sculpey clay. But let me go over the model quick with you. The letters are from Michael's craft store, and they're just laser cut wood letters, and you get like 2 or 3 of each letter in the pack. And I just put a gray primer, spray a gray primer on them, and then paint and weather them. So the second reason why this is done is because I had done the video up to the point where I had all the walls and windows painted. It was late in the evening. I went upstairs, I watched a little bit of TV, and then I was just getting so tired. And about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I laid down, got into bed, and at midnight, I woke up and had such a clear vision of what this was going to look like in the shape of the pier. And I was just so excited that I came back downstairs and just started building it. Worked all night long, worked into the day, and realized that I hadn't shot any video. So that's part of the reason. But again, another part is because I want to spend a little bit more time showing you how I do barnacles and how I'm going to use sculpey to make my buoys. All right, so back to details. So the figures on here are from Prizer. There used to be like 6 figures in here. And then a lot of the details that are on here are actually from viewers. And I just have to say thank you. So many of you have sent me detail castings. I've had so many people that contact me and say that they love the videos that I'm putting out, and as a way to say thank you, they want to send me some stuff. And so they end up sending me a lot of detail castings. I think all of the signs are from Foscale models, and they're from different kits. You'll notice there's a white cat there, and then I have a black cat. I don't know if you can see him right there back in the corner. Okay, so I still have a rowboat that's going to get painted and probably put in place right there. Before I put the boat in, I may put some more, I don't know, lobster traps and garbage inside the opening. Now I do know that this metal casting of this boat is from besttrains.com, and I know that these lobster traps are from rustyrail.com. But as far as the rest, they're just castings that people have sent me. I wanted to quick show you the birds, and I believe these birds are from Model Tech Studios. Next, we're going to add our barnacles. So the first thing you're going to need is ballast from Woodland Scenics, and it's important that it's fine ballast. Now, I'm using tan, but they sell this in gray, and that would work fine too. Then you're going to need some type of tray to put under your model. I'm just using the lid off of one of my containers that I keep all of my scraps and extra parts and everything in. You've seen them. Then we're going to need Eileen's tacky glue. Now, I bought this actually from Foscale Models, and the reason I bought this from Foscale is just to give them some extra support. So the next time you order a kit or detailed castings or anything from Foscale Models, add something like this to your order. Then we're simply going to take a brush and we're going to brush on this glue where we want the barnacles. I want to do this so that you can see it. Now I want to show you up close how I put that glue on. I just dabbed it on randomly at the bottom. Then we're going to take our ballast. First, let's put some on our container so it's easier to pick up. Another good tip is you're going to want to use a container that has a lip or an edge around it, so it holds all the ballast in so it's not spilling all over the place. And really, you can dip and gently press it on. Now you don't want to do too many in a row because it'll start to dry. So maybe do 3 or 4. Sorry, I know my arm's in the way. Well, as you can see, it doesn't really take that long. It's a pretty quick process. Then if you see that you missed a spot or want to add more, just dab it on and add it. Okay, so the barnacles are all dry. Now we're going to add 2 effects to it. We're going to use Trax Wash, and then this is Slimy Grime Light, and you can see it's a green. So first we'll start with Track Wash, and this is simply going to darken the bottom of the pilings, sort of to give it a water line, just to simply darken it. Now if you want to focus just mainly on the front, you can. You don't need to go all the way to the back if you don't want to. Okay, so let me explain to you how I'm doing this. If you can see, I'm kind of avoiding the barnacles. Now I'm hitting some of the barnacles, just not all of them. Make sure you turn it so that you can see all 4 sides. Hopefully I'm not off camera too much. Okay, that is done. Now maybe we'll switch to a smaller brush for the green. Again, I'm trying to stick mainly to just the wood and not get any on the ballast or barnacles. And although it may be on the barnacles in real life, I feel like this just makes it more dramatic. By only doing the wood and leaving the barnacles, it really shows off the barnacles more. So again, that's just me being maybe sort of artistic with it. Almost like theater set design. They make things a little bit more dramatic because they want it to stand out maybe more on stage. It's dark. It's the lighting affects it. Okay, and that is it. And let me show you. Put some paper behind it. Hopefully it shows up a little better. Okay, next we're going to make buoys using Sculpey. Now, this box will last me my entire life. You can see how little I've used of it. So grab a chunk and just soften it. So I'm just folding it over each other. Okay, this is more than enough. I'm using an old baking pan. It's 11 by 17, and then a piece of tin foil. And we're rolling this out. And we're just going to roll it really thin. Now, HO scale is pretty small. Now, they do have really large ones in real life. But I feel like if you get too big, it just looks out of scale. It's like with trees. Trees can be huge, but if you make a giant tree and put it on your layout, and it's the tallest thing on your layout, it's going to completely look out of scale. So, even though there's very large buoys in the real life, we're going to try to keep these pretty small so they look real. Some will make square, rectangle, we'll make some round ones. Like I said, to make round ones, we'll just roll a ball. That's a pretty big one. That's like larger than an HO scale head. So let's try to make something smaller. That right there is probably actually pretty good size. This one's probably even a little bit smaller. I think I'll end up putting these back in the box. Okay, now that we have a bunch of long pieces, now we can actually start to cut these and shape them. Then what we're going to do after we get all these cut to the shape we want, we have to take wire. Let me grab my wire. So we're using bronze wire. Let me see the size. Oh, 0.015. And this is from TitchyTrainGroup.com. So we have to cut a whole bunch of little wires to stick inside these. Sometimes I have little pieces in here. Yeah, there's a little piece. Then we've got our wire cutters. And you want to be very careful with this because you can cut these and a little one will just fly off and it's lost forever. So then take your wire after you got it cut, and just simply poke it in the end. And I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so after we get all these cut and the wire put in them, this tray goes in the oven. Okay, so all these in the center are done, and I still have all these to do. So I just lick the end of my finger, pick one of the pieces of wire up, grab it with the tweezers, and poke it in. I go about halfway maybe. I've had a couple of the wires fall out after I bake it, and all I do is super glue it back in. And then all of these get painted. This takes a little while, but really not too long. For me, it's actually really fun. I really enjoy this. And then it's fun to come up with different colors and putting stripes on them. Just go online and look up buoys and it'll give you an idea of colors and paint designs. Okay, so I just ended up making 47 of these. I stopped just because I want to get this video done and put out on time for you guys. So, right now I'm going to preheat my oven and cook these for 15 minutes at 130 degrees. Okay, so they're completely baked. I let it cool. I always forget my oven starts at 170. So I cook these at 170 for 15 minutes. Now I'm going to just slide this onto a piece of cardboard and then take a gray primer and spray these quick. Okay, so as you can see, I just picked some bright colors. I've got your basics: red, blue, yellow, green. This is green, blue, kind of an aquamarine, whatever colors. We'll paint these, and then we'll take white and paint some stripes on them. Again, do a Google search. It'll give you some examples of what buoys look like. So I've got all the colors painted. Now I'm going to take white and attempt to put some stripes on a few of them. Next, we're going to cut some tulle. This is a wedding veil material. Okay, so I've actually cut some and sprayed it a brown, just with rattle can brown spray paint. And then after we get it in place, then I can dry brush it with some gray or whatever I think will make it sort of stand out. So I've glued 24 of them onto the model. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this camel color, any tan color, really even an off-white would work. We're going to dry brush some of that netting. Don't know if you can see that. Now I'm using a shader called Dirt. And I put a couple drops in my tray. And then I simply brush over the buoys. And this just kind of gives them a dirty look. I mean, it's subtle, but it just dirties them up so they're not so bright. That way it blends in with the rest of it and they don't stand out so much. I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference on the camera, but kind of tones them down a little bit, makes them not so bright. Okay, we are so close to being done. Well, I've made my sign for the top. I'll show it to you quick. I also added a boat and put a little fisherman next to it. I still have to add a pulley here and maybe have some rope tied off maybe to this post here. I have a gas tank that I'm going to put right here on the side, rust it all up, and then have a pipe going from the tank underneath all the way over to the pump. And then the pump also needs to get a hose, a long hose, put on it. So there's still some little details. It seems like with all of my structures, I always have little stuff to finish up on them. So that's where it's going to sit on the new section of the layout. As you can see, I still have to get something built for that gas tank to sit on. So I need to build one more structure that sits on a pier that goes right here. And then I'll have some connecting piers right here. And then we'll start to work uphill and build some more structures that go in here, and then maybe 2 or 3 up here. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, and until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.